Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Minnesota Mike back with you for another video. This is another one in my vlog series that I do through the Memphis Songwriters Association in conjunction with the blog that I write for them, talking all about songwriting and what has worked for various artists over the course of a handful of years, whether those songs have been hits or not. So, thus far, in this particular kick, which talks about example songs, story songs, and hybrid songs, we have thus far just looked at story songs. These are pretty straightforward songs that tell a story. And sometimes you can have a really good song, but it's not necessarily a story. It's just a bunch of examples of a main point that you're trying to drive home. And that's what we're going to look at next. For those story songs, we looked at Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts by Bob Dylan, and then we also looked at Chemistry by Semisonic, which is another local bit of talent from the great state of Minnesota. Something in the water over there to make people write so darn well. But this next song is an example song. It's one of two that we are going to look at. And this is a song called Welcome to the Future by Brad Paisley. And I do want to point out that this particular song is actually what got me thinking about this particular concept. So shout out to Brad Paisley for writing a great song and inspiring me to learn a little bit about, analyzing those lyrics and the structure of the song and all of that, because that's a big reason why I'm sitting here doing this. So lyrically, this particular song, Welcome to the Future, uh, takes a look at future advancements in three different ways. In verse 1, Brad Paisley flashes back to his childhood when he wished that he could watch TV during a long drive with his family. He also wished that he could have his own Pac Man game at home, saying, I used to have to get a ride down to the arcade, now I've got it on my phone. The second verse talks about how his grandpa fought in World War II against the Japanese, and how his grandpa used to mail letters to his grandma while he was stationed overseas. The end of the second verse shows two advancements. Advancement one, similar to the first verse, is going from letter writing to video chatting with people as a form of communication. Number two, and the most important, is how the US has repaired its relationship with Japan since World War II, since his video chat was with a company in Tokyo. The third verse gets more serious and talks about how people at his high school burned a cross in the front yard of the running back, who was black, for asking out the homecoming queen. Then he pivots by saying, I thought about him today and everybody who's seen what he's seen, from a woman on a bus to a man with a dream. This song was written on or near election night in 2008 after Barack Obama got elected. Paisley was in New York promoting his album Play and was so touched by the amount of hope in people around him that he wrote this song celebrating how far we've come. And in fact, its parent album, which is called American Saturday Night, celebrates the diversity within America. At least the title track does, but it's a little bit of a concept album in that particular regard, so you can really tell what was influencing him. But each verse gives an example of how we've been ushered into the future in positive ways. And although it's a bit of a story touching on historical events, it's a great example of an example song because it doesn't really conclude. Melodically, this particular song, the intro uses G, D, G, D, while the verses use G, C, G, D, D, C, C, G, 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 C, G, D, D, C, and C. The chorus then uses E minor, C, G, G, D, E minor, D, and G, and an interlude of G and D between the first and second verse. The bridge uses E minor, C, G, G, and D, as well as E minor, and that repeats once before ending on G, D, C, D, C, C, D, and C, D, C. The first and last verses are played on an acoustic guitar with a slide guitar thrown in before a more electric sound comes in the second half. The second verse is dominated by an electric guitar. So structurally, this particular song uses a verse, chorus, bridge, solo, verse, chorus format. The best story songs begin and end with the most powerful verses. Though this song is an example song, Brad still follows the same rule of thumb. The most powerful example, the verse about the running back on the high school football team, comes last, and it's just a beautifully constructed song in that regard. So you can find Welcome to the Future embedded below and linked below, just so that you guys can really get the lyrics and all of that. I've included the lyric video, but just like with All About Chemistry, which I talked about, or Chemistry, which I talked about in the uh, previous vlog, you can look up that music video because it's really, really powerful. The All About Chemistry video I wouldn't classify as powerful, but it's still a really good video. So definitely check those out as well. But I hope that this affects your writing in a very, very positive way. I am Minnesota Mike. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next time, we are going to conclude our look at example songs with Moving Out, Anthony's song by Billy Joel. And then we are also going to chat about two hybrid songs, You Can't Always Get What You Want and Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, of course, in 3 separate videos. Thank you so much. I am Minnesota Mike. Be sure to tune in next time and check out all my other vlogs and all my other video series as Minnesota Mike. And then the blog for the Memphis Songwriters Association is on our website, so you can find that there. Thank you so much.